Welcome to Talkin VAWLS episode number 127. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm VAWLS JP.
And I'm Dauber. What's happening?
The Indy kid. It's his first time being full-time, and he's not here. I don't know where the Indy kid's at.
No show.
Can he get fired on his day off? Can he get fired? I know for real, the Indy kid is back full-time. He's going to be joining us for these live streams, but he is out of town, spending some time late with the family for Christmas. So I hope the Indy kid is having a good time. We did add a custom emoji for him. It's in the chat if you guys want to play with it and say, we miss you, Indy kid. But look, let's get into this thing. Let's see who's running down the live chat. We'll see who's here. A little bit of news. There's news every single day, constantly breaking from Knoxville. So we'll get into it. Jeremy Pruitt's fired. Jeremy Pruitt's back. Jeremy Pruitt's fired again. And then Jeremy Pruitt's back again. We're going to talk about it all, but welcome to the show. IC86 is here. It says the like button is smashed and destroyed. Troy Lee's here. Troy was talking earlier, and he said he's done with Tennessee football. He's done with Tennessee football, but it's January 15th, and he's watching Talkin VAWLS live. I don't believe you, Troy Lee. Old Town South is here. A lot of people were hanging out all day talking in the chat. We always enjoy that. Lonnie Allball Williams, longtime listener, is here. Rusty Shackelford is here. Josh S. is here. Guys, thanks for joining us. Make sure you have gone ahead and smashed and destroyed that like button. We greatly appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel so you always get notifications of when we go live. Speaking of going live, we can talk a little business on there before we get started. Dauber, are you out tomorrow for the basketball show, 100%?
No.
Okay, so you are in?
Yeah.
Okay. They will go live tomorrow night as long as the basketball game does not get canceled. I'm glad to hear that. That means I don't have to show up and stream. So check that out tomorrow immediately following the Vanderbilt game, which tip-off is what, 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, yes. And I would have imagined that we would have found out today if it was going to be canceled, but I never saw anything. Of course, I didn't have much time to look other than a little bit at lunch. So, yeah,
you would have thought they would have said something today. All right, so let's get into this thing. Why are we live streaming? Man, look, this Jeremy Pruitt deal has been a roller coaster. It has been up and down. And that's why, we report the news, we read what comes out in the news, and we just try to formulate an opinion. Nobody has any inside connections. We don't know any more than you guys. We like coming on here talking and getting your opinions as well. But yesterday around lunchtime, Pruitt sat down with attorneys, and he answered questions for 8 hours. Let's start with that. Imagine sitting down for this internal investigation for accusations regarding recruiting. 8 hours is a long time to answer questions. They're going to be asking about emails, phone calls, all kinds of stuff. That's tough.
Yeah, and not just Pruitt. The other interviews and stuff that went on in the days leading up to yesterday, they said most of those went 3 to 4 hours with the other coaches, the other assistants. I mean, this is just it's so wacky, and it's like. For every good thing that comes out, you got 2 bad things that come out, and like you said, we're just we're taking what we get and kind of running with that and formulating some of our own opinions and hypotheticals, and it's all kind of a wait and see because, like you said, it's 1 minute he's gone for sure, and it's coming from a fairly credible source, and then the next minute. He's on a plane to California to recruit a guy that's already on the team.
That's another topic and thread I kind of want to go down here a little bit later in the show is how this one-time transfer rule, I would imagine they're going to pass it, and how it changes things because like Dauber just said, now head coaches are going to have to focus on recruiting a guy that you could probably consider your best defensive player, and you're going to have to recruit him to come back. But Cody Branch for $2 says Pruitt is done, boys, and he knows it. Cody, you know something we don't know, I guess, because I have no clue what is going on in Knoxville right now. What about you, JP? What are your thoughts with everything going on? The investigation. Do you think anything comes of it? Let me say this first, and then you can chime in. At this point, as much as I want Pruitt gone, it's not going to be good for this university. If he gets fired with cause, it's not going to be good, because that means that it's probably level one. It's something bad. It's something serious that is going to impact this program. So as much as I want to move on from Jeremy Pruitt, as much as I don't think he's gone or that he's the guy, I don't want something coming out of this investigation.
No, and I think that's what fans need to kind of temper this on here is the fact that if it does end up being serious, I mean, it's gonna hurt. Now, I mean, one could argue that we're already pretty much putting ourselves, with the death penalty with the way that that we performed over the last several years. But if you really look at the roster, and of course, who knows what's going to happen if he is dismissed as far as players transferring. We already know that several have already transferred out regardless. But all of the intel seems to be that there's going to be several people or several players leave should he be fired. So with that, but yeah, I mean, we don't want this to be anything severe for sure. I mean, any Tennessee fan does not want that, and to me, that's the problem with it, is it's not going to be good either way that you go with it, because I just think that it's going to be extremely difficult with everything that's went on the last 3 or 4 months for Pruitt. I mean, to make this work. I mean, if he does, I mean, he's pulling off something that probably not many coaches would be able to do. And so far, his track record down there, I don't have a whole lot of confidence that it'll happen if he is kept. But it's typical Tennessee, though. I mean, it's just typical. I mean, this fan base knows it. I mean, all of these comments, I mean, everything that you read, any kind of message board, any kind of discussion, whether it's, chatting with friends or whatever, it's the same thing. Does it really surprise you that you're sitting here January the 15th and you still don't know whether or not that he is going to be your head coach in for a season that practically starts? I mean, it players will be back this weekend, from my understanding.
I think they're having the players meeting on Monday.
On Monday,
that means the season starts Monday,
well,
because they're going to sit down with Jeremy Pruitt, who they are assuming is their head coach, and they are going to lay out their goals, the expectations. The season starts Monday. Well, yeah, and we don't know who the head coach is going to be.
One of the most important times for a football team is the off season.
Yeah.
That's when that you're getting better as far as just from a physical standpoint, from an athletic standpoint, from a speed standpoint. And that these kids are like, well, what's going on? Who's going to be the coach? Who's not going to be the coach?
And that's why we're seeing.
I mean, I hate it for the kids.
Yeah,
for the players.
But that's why we're seeing Jeremy Pruitt doing what he's doing today. And Kyle is here and says, "Sorry, I'm late." Am I hearing this correct? Cornbread is staying. No, Kyle. Nobody really knows. Some news came out today, VolQuest.com. They basically, it's not even really news, but the story broke that Jeremy Pruitt, Ansley, and Kevin Steele were on an airplane flying to California to sit down with Henry T. and basically try to recruit him not to enter the transfer portal. But what they later talked about on VolQuest, which this is funny because, again, they're the ones that broke the story, but they're later talking about that this trip has been scheduled for a while. So if Tennessee says, no, you can't use our resources to go out there, that's a terrible look. That's a terrible look, especially what's Henry T going to do? Because if they're going out there to talk to him, what is he going to do if they say, oh, by the way, the coaches aren't coming now? He's gone. There's no way he's coming back. Let me hit this super chat from John Robert Tolkertine. Thank you so much for $9.99. Wow, $9.99. Big super chat. Thank you so much. He says, I think this is our last chance to get this right before college football starts to leave us behind. If they fire him, they better get it right this time. That is a theme that I see all over the media right now, is if when they move on from Jeremy Pruitt, this next hire is it. They better get it right, or they are going to be they're calling it the decision of a generation, that they're going to move on. What do you think of that, Dauber?
Oh, definitely. I sent you guys a text there the other day in our group chat. It was the day after the 11-year anniversary that Kiffin left us in the middle of the night, and I had a memory on my Facebook pop up that I was talking to, made a threw it out to Mike Hamilton. You need to go big with this hire, and
We all know how that went.
we proceeded to hire Derek Dooley. So, man, they have Tennessee'd the offseason up to this point so far, and it's nothing that you don't expect. We got to look at right now the damage that this is doing to this football program. Yeah, I know. To get rid of him and pay that huge buyout, yeah, financially that hurts, but you got to look big picture. What is this doing to the program beyond the financial aspect of it? You're talking about coaches moving on, players moving on. If this 1-year transfer eligibility waiver is passed, you could be talking about flipping a whole team. Man, I just it's kind of scary watching how this is being handled right now.
Let me go into this super chat because it kind of goes with what you're talking about with financial impact. But first, I want to say we've got 253 people watching live on a January 15th show because Tennessee is nothing but drama. We're glad that you're here, but I'm looking over here to my side panel, and we got 90 thumbs up. We got to fix that, guys. We got to fix 246 people now watching live. 90 thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. It's right down below. It takes 2 seconds. It makes me happy. The quicker you do it, the quicker I shut up about it, and then we can get back to talking a little ball here on Talkin VAWLS Friday night edition. But going back to finances, Walter Miller for $5. Thanks, Walter, for the super chat. We appreciate that. Says, hasn't UT paid out 10 to 15 million to former coaches? Yeah, they just got done paying Butch Jones, who conveniently gets a head coaching job right as that expires. But, Walter, I think what we have to look at is the big picture here. I don't care what they have to pay Jeremy Pruitt at this point, and I talked about it a lot this season. Money was a reason that I was defending him for a while. It doesn't matter. You got to look at long-term financial loss by leaving the wrong guy in that head coaching position. Do you not agree, JP? Paying the buyout is not as big of an increase. Look, there are people in this chat tonight that have said they're done with Tennessee football. JP has said he's going to buy a bass boat and start fishing again. We have to make him come do this. The super chats are the only thing that keep him coming back. And if he is checking out, how many other people are going to check out? What are season ticket sales going to look like this year if they trot Jeremy Pruitt out there? What do you think, JP? Buyout versus long-term financial impact?
You can't keep somebody that you don't feel like is the direction that you want to go. It doesn't matter what it costs. There is no business that is going to be successful, regardless of what it is, if you got the wrong person leading it. And all it's going to do is just cost you more money over and over and over. And that's what it's done. I mean, that's what this administration has continued to do, is to hire coaches that can't get it done. And, going back to the question that Dauber was talking about and the super chat about, Tennessee has to get this next hire right. I can see that argument, but at the same time, hiring a coach to be successful in college football is such a crapshoot. The odds are stacked against you. It is severely stacked against you to get a successful coach. The problem is you can't continue to hang on to the ones that aren't successful.
Well, we've got it wrong enough times in a row. It should be about our turn to flip that.
Dauber, I 1000% agree with that. The thing is I can sit here and say that I'm done, and I'll admit this is the most apathetic and the absolute I do not see this administration doing anything right to try to turn this program around. This is the worst that I have ever felt. And I don't know if it's where I'm older or what it is, but it's just like this is not going right, and it doesn't appear that it's ever going to get right. Saying that, though, all it takes is for them to hire the right person. Myself, tons of these fans will be right back on the big orange wagon. And we know it. I know it. We all know it.
All you got to do is look at Alabama. Look at Alabama before Saban. And, I think the hard part for us, for our generation, we talk about it a lot on this show, is we're spoiled. We're the spoiled generation. Our age has never been through this. When Tennessee did go through this, we were in diapers. Like, we didn't experience the struggle. Tennessee has always been good for our generation. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. Some people didn't like my thumbs up rant. We got 2 thumbs down because of that. I'm sorry, guys. Hopkins lacrosse fan is here. What's up? Hop, $5 super chat says, good evening, gentlemen. I wonder, all things being equal, would be the recipe to bring the Vols back to glory. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for the support, Hop. We appreciate the super chat, and you always showing up every single time we go live. Let me hit this one from Pecan for $10. Thanks for the super chat. I will always love my Vols, but I don't know anymore. We seem cursed. Going to take a lot of effort to undo the damage done financially and to the reputation. Love the extra shows. Well, thanks, Pecan. You guys, like I say this a lot, but when you guys show up and we have 300 people watching on a random Friday night that we announced 5 hours ago, we're going to keep putting out content. We're trying to make more videos, trying to keep live streams coming out. So make sure you guys stay tuned in. Walter Miller with another $5 says, right, Boogie, but getting rid of Pruitt for cause is cheap. That's true. Short term, but what would the damage be? In order to fire him for cause, there has to be something there, right? There has to be something to fire him for cause. What is that impact going to be versus paying a buyout, Dauber?
Well, that's JP alluded to it earlier. If he is fired for cause, it's going to be something bad, and it's going to have right now, the only thing that has happened has been an internal investigation with the compliance and all that. The NCAA had nothing to do with it right now. And it came out yesterday that they did have some violations, recruiting violations for the football team and for the women's basketball team.
But for anybody out there, don't get it twisted. That has nothing to do with this investigation. That's
right.
old. That's old news.
Right. But if what comes out of the investigation that Pruitt was meeting with the lawyers yesterday, that the rest of the staff has been meeting with for the last week or so, if something out of that comes bad enough that the compliance office at Tennessee turns it over to the NCAA and they get involved, it's going to be loss of scholarships, postseason bans, recruitment. They're going to have recruitment hours, phone calls, visits taken away from coaches, particularly ones involved. But you also have to look at the hiring freeze that has been placed and all that, and then you get into the Kevin Steele hiring. I was reading some stuff on that there is still a hiring freeze, but it's for open positions. That was the loophole around that he was brought in for maybe a position that is currently not vacant, which that leaves
Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones.
Potential of Niedermeyer or T. Martin leaving, which Niedermeyer is pretty heavily mentioned in all the stuff that's been going on. So it's just a circus.
Let's continue I want to continue to talk about the coaching thing because you bring up some good points there. Let me say this. Thank you, Lonnie Allball Williams, for joining the channel. We appreciate that. You now have access to the custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. And I try to highlight your comments if you're a channel member. And I know there's a lot, and I miss some of you guys, but I do my best. It highlights you guys in green, so I try to feature your comments as much as possible. But I want to go back to what Dauber's talking about with Steele, the hire of Steele. It's very interesting that there is a hiring freeze, like you just said, but yet they bring in Steele and they give him the title of defensive assistant. And I know a lot of that could be terminology because of the contract with Auburn and his buyout and all that stuff, which they put all that out there as well. But some people are making a story out of Dan Brooks' son getting hired as the assistant strength coach, which is kind of funny because it really doesn't matter. Like, he's not, I don't, is he an hourly employee? I don't even know that he has a salary. He may be hourly, but if Pruitt is back, do you not think, JP, that he would have hired an offensive line coach by now? That's the interesting one to me, because the Steele hire, great hire. Don't get it. Like, I'm so happy that he's going to be in Knoxville, especially for the price that he's going to be in Knoxville for. But why has there not been an offensive line hire? Why have we not heard anything about T. Martin and Niedermeyer? What's going on with this coaching freeze? But you hire Kevin Steele.
Well, supposedly with T. Martin and them, that their contract isn't up until the end of this month. Of course, that was pretty much the same thing with Friend, and evidently he had the writing on the wall and decided to move on. So a lot of grumblings out there that T. Martin is not coming back. I don't think there's any chance that Niedermeyer comes back, because I wouldn't be surprised if he's not the one that ends up getting the most out of this investigation. It sounds like that he's probably going to be the one that gets probably accused of most of this. So with that, I think as far as Kevin Steele coming in, I think that probably the fact of his track record, played at Tennessee and stuff, I guess that they just felt like that, that they couldn't pass up the opportunity to bring him in regardless of what ends up happening with Pruitt there. It does make me think that if they were to dismiss Pruitt, that I could see him just sliding in as the head coach, and I'm not crazy about that for sure. And then the other aspect of it, and I think I might have mentioned it here on one of the videos we've done this week, is if you hire him, which they did, then the fact is that whoever the next coach is, should they fire Pruitt, is going to have to keep him on staff. And I understand that he is a good coach. I mean, I understand that. And there's probably a ton of head coaches out there that would love to have him. But there may be some that's like, I want to bring my own staff in. And it kind of gives off that whole persona of that you've got administration that's basically telling you how that you need to, fill out your coaching staff. And I just think that could turn some potential decent coaches off. And I think at that point in time, you're definitely probably hiring some up and comer that we've never heard of, just because that they want to get a shot and get paid. Well,
let me ask you guys this. Staying on the Kevin Steele thing. First, Alicia Keys, and it's not even close. But staying on that Kevin Steele thing, because there seems to be two different trains of thought. It seems to be either Jeremy Pruitt's going to get fired and Kevin Steele's going to be the interim coach and just step right in. And it was a Fulmer move, not a Jeremy Pruitt move, even though we've heard otherwise, And then the other train of thought is, and Dauber and I were talking about this right before we went live, that Ansley's name is in the mix to be the defensive coordinator at Oregon. So if that's the case, if you've hired Kevin Steele and you're going to move him in as the defensive coordinator, let's say that Pruitt keeps his job, Ansley goes to Oregon, you move him in as the defensive coordinator. How does that impact his contract and the wording of all that? Can you call him a defensive assistant, but technically he's your defensive coordinator? How does that work? Do you hire somebody else and call them the defensive coordinator? I mean, I'm being serious. I have no idea how that works.
That's similar to what Alabama did with Butch Jones. Who knows what exactly his role was for the team. I know there was a lot of joking around. He brought Saban his coffee and the Cokes to the press conferences and all that. But, you keep a guy like that as an analyst for the amount of time that he was there, so he could keep getting a paycheck from Tennessee, and you just pile whatever work you want on him. It's always, we see that outside of the world of football as well. People always get more work dumped on them than their job title or their pay, reflects. But I I think it's business related, the wording of that, and potential. Like I said, I think he was able to be hired because the wording of the hiring freeze that was made was for vacant positions, and that would be your offensive line, your defensive line, and like you said, that is worrisome that there have been no efforts to fill those vacancies, because you're getting to the point of the season now that most people that were on the coaching carousel have gotten back on somewhere else. So now you're left with either trying to poach somebody from another school, which means you're going to have to pay a lot, or you're going to have to give a multiple year deal.
Yep.
And that sort of gets you into the boat of, well, if Pruitt's gone after next year and you've just hired an offensive line and a defensive line coach for a 2-3 year contract, that's increasing the buyout that you're going to have to pay, because the next coach isn't likely to retain people.
And what happens when you've got T. Martin leaving, you've got Niedermeyer more than likely leaving? What happens if Ansley leaves? These are a lot of positions, and it's something that we talked about. I think JP and I may have talked about it in a video. It all runs together at this point, but it's going to be tough. If you're changing this staff, if you're overhauling this staff, and Pruitt comes back, you're crazy to think you're going to see true progress in year one. So at this point, you're looking at 2 years at least?
Let me throw this out before you start, JP. You look at the last 4 coaching changes we've had. What happened to each of those coaches the year before they were fired? Major staff overhaul.
Yeah.
Fulmer had it. Dooley had it. Butch had it. And now it looks like we're likely going into a season where Pruitt is going to have major changes to the staff, and that doesn't bode well. It's hard to instill a completely new system, game plans, and all that, and be successful. So, sorry to cut you off there, JP.
No, that's fine. That's no problem at all. I was just going to say, I mean, from everything that I've read, he's actually interviewed some offensive line coaches.
But wasn't there one of the prospects that he interviewed that there was no chance he was coming here because of baggage?
Oh yeah. So
what is that all about?
Yeah.
Let me say this real quick. I hate to do this on air, but I'm going to do it anyway. Especially Ray, you remember the channel, you support us, we appreciate it. But you're saying we're doing a carpet dance with no new info. You guys ask us to do more live streams, so we're doing more live streams. The reality is, nobody knows what's going on. And if there's somebody out there that's in your ear telling you he's definitely coming back, they're a liar. And if there's somebody out there that's telling you that he's definitely fired, they're a liar too. We're not going to throw crap at the wall and hope it sticks so we can be right, because there's a lot of people out there that are saying, oh, I know he's gone, I got a source. You're a liar. You're full of crap. You were gambling. You're in Vegas. You're betting it all on black. You're going 50-50, hoping you're right so you can have internet cred. We don't claim to be that. We're just here talking, having a good time, getting your all's opinions. Ray, we appreciate the support. It's not that we're doing a carpet dance. We're just doing a live stream. We're just talking, man. We're just having a good time. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but we are glad that you're here. That's off my chest, JP. Go ahead.
Hey, there's a super chat you need to hit, isn't it?
There's multiple ones, but I wanted to let you hit your points.
Somebody's got bad sound.
Is it me? Make your point. I'll come right back.
But yeah, talking about the offensive line, I mean, he's interviewed some folks. Now you could question who he has interviewed. The last one they said was the offensive line coach, I think, at Kansas. I mean, the last time that I looked, Kansas was probably one of the worst teams in Power 5. Not to say that the coach is not any good, but I mean, come off of it. You know, I'm just not very excited if he was to hire that. And then the guy that Boogie's talking about, and this to me is one of the biggest things that I've heard all week and has really got me really, really, well, it really just validated what I've thought, is that this administration is not bought in to win at football. Is yes, Pruitt did interview the Turner guy, the former Bengals offensive line coach. Supposedly he's got a pretty good track record, but he does have issues in the past with some things that he's done. So Pruitt goes and interviews the guy, and they're saying that there's no chance that he would ever get hired, that Tennessee would never hire this guy because of past issues. And then Austin Price turns around and says, don't be surprised if he's not the offensive line coach at Alabama next year. Now, as a fan,
it's as Tennessee as it gets.
As a fan, knowing what Alabama has done over the last 12, 13 years and what Tennessee's done over that same time period, as a fan, what does that make me think? Well, if Alabama is willing to hire him, even though that he's got past issues, they must feel like that he's a pretty good coach. But because of these past issues, we aren't going to take that chance. So there's no opportunity to better our football program, but we're going to let him go to Alabama and he can continue to win national championships with them.
Same thing with Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah. It's the
same
thing.
Saban tried to bring him in as offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And he ended up taking the Liberty job. But that's the thing. There are so many people, and I don't know if it's the administration. They get hung up on people's baggage and the past, rather than the future and the potential.
And it doesn't make any sense. I mean, what are they really trying to try not to hurt their image? I mean, come off of it. You're the laughing stock of college football. I mean, you are laughed at every 3 or 4 years because the incompetence that you have in trying to hire a coach, and just the total just dysfunctional that goes on in Knoxville with this football program. But you're too high and mighty to hire somebody that's had off the field issues or prior issues in the past. I mean, to me, there's people that keep on saying, that people are crazy for saying that this administration doesn't care about winning. Well, I don't know how else that I'm supposed to take that. I'm sorry.
The frustrating part is it's bad enough if you take the moral high ground and you say, well, we're not going to bring that person here. The frustrating part's, like you said, when they end up somewhere else and then they're beating Tennessee. Let me say this, though. We do have 288 people watching live. Hit that thumbs up. We're at 165. Let's get that thing to 200. We would appreciate it. And let me just apologize for the static. My anger, I punched the table. My microphone has a short in it, and if I touch the table while we're live, it goes fuzzy. But I think we're good now. So let's hit. Got a bunch of super chats here. Walter Miller for $5. Thank you, Walter. Says, Fat Phil is seeking the best outcome for Fat Phil. A lot of people say that. A lot of people say he is cutthroat and behind the scenes, and he's a snake in the grass. So, you may be right. You may be right. Vol 238 for $9.99. Thank you so much. Says, hey, I'm new to your show. Found you guys near the end of the season. Great job thus far. Really enjoyed the show. No matter what, it's still great to be a Tennessee Vol. Well, welcome, and thank you for that generous super chat. We appreciate it. And you're right. Look, the thing is, we're all frustrated. We all bleed orange. We all love this football team. That's why we are all 310 of us right now are sitting here talking about it, because all we want is for this football program to get back on track and succeed. Whether you think Pruitt's the guy or you hate Jeremy Pruitt, we all want the same thing, and that's just for Tennessee to get back to winning. My favorite person that's not a Tennessee fan, Alan V. Troll Patrol for $5. If you guys don't like Alan, give him a break, man. Give him a break. He's family. Thanks for the super chat. It's a fluid situation around the SEC. It's silly season. It is silly season. Things change every day, everywhere. Keep up the streams. Ric Flair style. Woo! That's it, man. That's the thing. Like, I hate to go on that rant earlier, but that's the truth. What Alan says is the truth. It's a fluid situation. You hear one thing one day, one thing the next. One day you hear he's getting fired. One day he's guaranteed to come back. We are just presenting to you guys what we hear and then talking about it and getting your opinions on it too. That's a big part of this show that I enjoy. Donovan, $24.99 super chat. Thank you, Donovan. Wow, that is crazy and very generous. We appreciate it. Says, what up, guys? Just on lunch. Fire him already. He has lost everyone. Boogie, y'all do a great job. Who cares what anyone thinks? The truth is the truth. Well, I do. It hurts my feelings sometimes. I appreciate the support, though, Donovan. Wow, that's a very generous super chat. So thank you so much for that. I think we got one more, and then we'll be caught up. I think. Let me find it. Dang, did I just pass it? Sorry, there's so many comments. You guys are awesome, and I'm sorry I'm way behind here. But Mill Art, $10 super chat. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. From a dog fan, that might as well be a $500 super chat. So thank you so much. Came for the what? Is that a word, JP? Can you read that to me? I bet Dauber knows what it means.
I have no idea.
Stayed for the rants. Hang in there, folks. Sorry, we're uneducated here, Millart, but Milliart. I can't read, man. My eyes are going crossed. But thank you so much for the support and thank you for being here. It's always fun when fans of other teams come in and hang out and enjoy what we do.
But what's sad about that is that they actually feel sorry for us now. You know, I mean,
do you believe that though? Do you believe that?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of teams. I mean, I'm seeing a few of them here, man. You know, like Tennessee, get it together. You know, I miss, Tennessee actually being competitive and stuff like that.
IC86 is more educated than us.
Alabama feels sorry for us. I mean, it's just another.
That super chat was to tell us that he was enjoying our pain and we're too stupid to realize it. JP, do you understand what's happening here? Oh, goodness gracious. I think William Poole's right. I think they enjoy our misery and they say that. It's almost like doubling down on you. JP, did you ever once feel sorry when Tennessee was dominating Alabama? Not one time. There's no way.
No, I didn't. But, I mean, Alabama was never this bad for this long, though. I mean,
it was a pretty good length of time, though.
We've been them for 7 years.
The thing is, though, you look at the last decade and the games that we're not even competitive in. I think that's what people are wanting. You might as well. It's like a non-conference game to some of these teams when we play them.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I think that's the point.
Citadel puts up a bigger fight against Alabama than we do.
So, I mean, maybe if we can, cut it to single digits, we're going somewhere, and that they'll be happy with that. And that's I saw a comment earlier. That's the thing with this Tennessee team. Not just are we bad and we're getting blown out, we're boring to watch.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
It's not exciting. And conversely, you look at Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin and that offense. You look at Alabama and that offense. We don't have that caliber of offense. We've got some talent at certain positions, but because of coaching decisions and limited play at the quarterback position, we just weren't able to get anything clicking and going, and it just made it boring.
Yeah, we're definitely boring. There ain't no doubt about it. I mean, that is a boring offensive team. Boring. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Let's transition this thing forward just a little bit. Something I wanted to talk about. You kind of briefly touched on earlier in the show, Dauber. That's the one-time transfer rule that it appears. And yes, the NCAA has dropped the ball on it. Like it should have been clear cut by now. It's not fair to these kids that are kind of in limbo trying to decide what to do. But at the same time, this thing is going to change college football. And again, as we mentioned earlier, what started this whole live stream is the fact that Jeremy Pruitt jumped on a jet to fly to California to sit down with his inside linebacker and try to convince him. Was Henry T a captain this year? He probably was, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah,
pretty sure he was. If he wasn't, he's going to be next year. And you have to sit down with a captain and convince him why he needs to come back to Tennessee. And you can say what you want about generations and kids and being entitled and all this stuff. You can say whatever you want about that. But it's like, for me, Henry T should come to Tennessee It should be an honor to put that helmet on. It's a privilege to come to Tennessee, but it's not anymore. And it's something that we talk about on this show. It's just not.
And the thing is, he's not going out there just to talk to Henry T. He's talking to Henry T and his family, because it is a situation. Everything I've read about it is he is talking with his family about whether or not this is where he needs to go. And let's face it, if the product on the field is going to be the same as it was this year, 3-7, is that really a good fit for a guy who his future and potential is playing at the next level?
But again, we go back to, man, and I know it's a different time, but he should be playing for the T, not for Jeremy Pruitt. That's the problem. That's not the case anymore. They're playing for that coach. But on the flip side of that, and I kind of defended this talking to my wife about it earlier, because you do bring the parents up, which is a good point. And I was like, look, if this was our son and our son was in college, you're building relationships, right? And Jeremy Pruitt's going to come sit down in your living room and he's going to tell you and your wife, we're going to take care of your son. And, something we always heard about Fulmer or even Mark Richt at Georgia, what good men they were, what good leaders they were for these kids. And that's something that you would want for your child. And now that's potentially gone. We don't know. That's potentially gone. And you would want to know. You would want to talk to that man that you were trusting your son with, right? I mean, it's basically a father figure. So especially like Henry T being from California, being across the country, that's definitely 100%. But do you think that's the exception to the rule, JP? The parents being involved and the betterment of the kid and raising a young man, teaching him how to be a man, compared to how many kids are in that portal because they don't like the coach or this, that, or the other ticky-tack stuff?
I think it's very few that's probably actually in the portal because of that kind of stuff. It's either that or they've seen the writing on the wall that they're not going to be able to compete. Now, excuse me. Somebody like Shrout, I think Shrout was just frustrated with the whole situation of how all the quarterback play ended up, and he probably felt like that there was no shot, that he was, that he wasn't going to be given a shot this spring to win that job with that. Vonnie Morris, I mean, who knows? I think when he was recruited, I think that his family was all bought into Pruitt, but who knows there?
I think
who really knows what's happened with that situation.
I think I saw somebody on VolQuest talking about Morris, and they were like, "Why would he leave? What's his problem?" And it's like, you do realize that he had a number 29 jersey with no name on it. Extra tight end to run block. That might be what he's upset about. Donovan Milliken with another $19.99 super chat. Donovan, did you just get paid today, or are you drinking on the job? What are you doing? Either way, we appreciate the support. He said, at least if we had Gus, he would never have a losing season. I'm tired of having a losing record. It is not acceptable. No, it's not. You might as well. I'm off the Gus bus now. It's not happening because of the drama with Steele. There's no way that Gus Malzahn is coming to Knoxville. There's another super chat here, and I lost it. Okay, here we go. It's Donovan again. Donovan, man, you're my friend today. I think
we appreciate you, Donovan.
We appreciate you. We especially Donovan though. $9.99 super chat just cause this is my favorite show. Well, thank you, Donovan. We appreciate that. And it's a good time to plug this show. We say it all the time, but we do have a lot of new subscribers. I just want to reiterate it. Like, it is fans talking. Somebody once insulted us by saying, you might as well crack a beer and go sit on your back porch and talk to your buddy about Tennessee football. And I said, that's exactly what this show is. We're not anything special. You guys are just a part of the show as we are, and we're glad that you're here. We love your opinions, and we really like it when you hit the thumbs up. We're almost to 200, so smash that thumbs up. What else do you guys want to talk about? We're 45 minutes in. We can keep going. What do you want to talk about, JP?
It don't matter. I just got accused of being on crack. I've never done any illegal drugs in my life. But
who said that? Somebody in the chat?
Yeah, I think one of them there.
The chat goes so fast now that I can't get offended. I just catch one every now and then, like I did.
Talking about the transfer portal, saying that everybody that transfers is basically spoiled brat that can't make it. And I'm not agreeing with that. I mean, I'm not. I mean, do I blame Trout for transferring after the way that quarterback room was handled last year? Absolutely not. I do not blame that kid at all. I don't blame it all. I don't blame Austin Pope for transferring because we don't ever throw to the freaking tight end. You know, the guy wants a shot at the NFL. The guy wants a shot at the NFL, and if we're not going to do anything but just line him up in the backfield as a H-back, yeah, I mean, I can't blame the kid. And the kid's from Knoxville. That's the bad part about it. I'm done.
That didn't go on near as long as I was hoping it would. No, the thing is, every kid that's in the transfer portal is in for different reasons. I get that. But I do also agree with the point that if it was Michael that made it, there are a lot of entitled brats that are in that transfer portal.
Tons of them.
And when you got guys going in the portal, coming out of the portal, going back in the portal, coming back out of the portal, and that's something that
Schamberger.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
And that's something the VolQuest guys were talking about. I think it was yesterday's podcast or something, maybe today on the radio. I can't remember. But they were saying they got to find a way to limit that thing. Like, you can't leave it open all year. You got to have a time to open it and close it, especially now with the one-time transfer rule coming into effect, if it does as we expect.
Well, and I brought that up a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about this and leading up to the NCAA vote on it, and I'm sure the SEC has to approve that once it's made as well. But is this something that you play for Tennessee the first 3 games, and then you take your one-time transfer and go to Alabama?
Yeah,
you've got the whole playbook at your disposal. I mean,
it's changing the game. Yeah, I think it's hurting the game.
College football is, I mean, I'm not saying that it's teetering on becoming the next NASCAR, but if something doesn't happen within the next 5 to 10 years, if this continues, I saw a stat the other day that Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson have won 17 of the 21 playoff games. 17 out of the 21 playoff games. People are tired of it. I mean, it was announced that this was the least watched college football national championship since they've had the playoffs, I guess. I mean, there's no interest in it.
So does that make Alabama Jimmy Johnson?
I guess so, because yes, I mean, Nick Saban and what they've done down there is a lot to blame for it, but this college football playoff is not helping it at all. And I, for years, was saying we need a playoff. We need a playoff, but it has absolutely ruined it. Michael, buddy, it's all good, man. It's all good, Michael. No hard feelings at all, buddy. You can't make me mad unless you start talking about my family or something. But
yeah, I don't know that I've ever really seen JP.
I'm about as cool as a cucumber.
I've seen Dauber mad about once a week, but JP,
yeah,
I get mad too. Me and Dauber have ridiculous tempers. JP just sits there. He's like that's why he's down in the bottom in the center, because he keeps me and Dauber calm. Jonathan Rice with $24.99. You guys are throwing money at us tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you, Jonathan. I'm a VFL and I'm sick of this. JP, what do you think he's trying to say there?
Well, I mean,
I'm sick of all this stuff. Do you think he left? I think he left a star.
Stuff, yeah.
Sick of all this stuff. Fire Pruitt, grow a pear tree, and go get Hugh Freeze and Gardner. I'm tired of saying Garner. I'm tired of saying every week we play Florida, Georgia, and Bama that here comes another. What do you think he's saying there, JP?
Butt whooping.
But he left another star out. His keyboard might be messed up. Here comes another butt whooping. We got talent, bad coaching.
Yeah, I agree, Jonathan. Yep, buddy, I agree. 100%. I mean, I feel the same way, and that's what makes me so frustrated when we hear that, you know, Alabama is possibly going to hire an offensive line coach that we won't even consider. I mean, we won't even.
After we've talked to him.
Yeah. God, I mean, that's it. I mean, how in the world do they expect people to continue to support this? Something has got to give. They
expect it because
the money keeps showing up.
Exactly. Yeah. And you got
Good luck with that.
Three
this
random
year.
dudes talking about it on YouTube and 300 people watching it. What does that say about this fan base? It says they care.
I'm telling you, that stadium, if Pruitt's back next year, it's not going to be a pretty sight. It's not going to be.
Walter Miller for $5.
I firmly believe that.
Compliments Dauber and says, "Good one, Dauber." I don't even know what Dauber said at this point. It's so late. I'm sorry, Walter. Your joke probably fell flat. I don't know what that was in reference to. But thank you, Walter, for another super chat. Dude, you guys are awesome. We appreciate all the support from you. Dauber, I know you said you could only stick around for a little while. Do you want to drop off or do you want to stay on?
I'm good. I worked that out.
What do you guys think about letting listeners come on?
Let's do it.
You guys want to come on? You guys have thrown so much money our way tonight. I would love to hear the voice of the Talkin VAWLS faithful. So if you want to come on the show, put a 1 in the chat. If we get a bunch of 1s, we'll let you guys start coming on and get your opinions. But we do, while we're waiting on the 1s to come in, we got 300 watching live. We got 193 likes. Let's have 7 of the 300 hit that thumbs up. Yeah, and Dauber, we can plug some merch while we're waiting on that to happen.
Look here.
Talkin VAWLS Hoops merch. Hoops merch. Check out the link to that is in the description. It's the first one listed. I think it's bonfire.com/VAWL-hoops. So check it out.
I think for all these people joining in tonight, I'd like to take a little money out of my cut out of this and give away a T-shirt, I think, tonight. So
how do you want to do that?
I don't know. Let's just randomly I don't know.
Should we pick somebody that did a super chat? They threw money at us.
That's fine.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this then. I can go back to YouTube and track every super chat that came in. So every super chat that we get tonight from the beginning of the show, if you've already done one, that's fine. You don't have to keep doing it. So anybody that gave a super chat will be entered to win a Talkin VAWLS shirt of your choice, whether it's a hoodie, T-shirt, ball hoops, any design, anything that's available. You guys can have it. So anybody that does a super chat, whether it's $1.99 or Donovan with $24.99, that's the easiest way to do it. It's the easiest way to track it. So any super chats all night, we will enter you to win a free T-shirt. Check back. We'll put it in the comments section later tonight. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop the link to the show in the chat right now. So if you want to get in, there's the link. You can come on the show. You can come on the show.
And I'll tell you what too. We'll do this. Anybody, if you threw a super chat out, whatever, you're getting something. Send us a message, and you'll get one of these brand new hologram.
Holy cow, that's going to get complicated because there's a bunch of super chats coming in. Dauber's going to track it and send you guys a free sticker.
We'll get it. We'll get it worked out. You have to do the legwork and send us a message though. I'm not tracking you down.
Facebook or Twitter, either one. If you did a super chat tonight and you want a free sticker, send us a message. Dauber will get it sent out. William Poole says, "Here's $2. I'm broke, but I'm throwing it in anyway." Thank you, William. You didn't have to do that, buddy, but we do appreciate the support. Man, Dauber's making extra work, but it's on him, so I'm fine with it. John Dunn, I know your name, buddy. I know your name, and you know my name. I've actually talked to you before. Send me a message, and I can talk to you about what we use on here anytime you want to talk about it. Kyle with a $4.99 super chat. Kyle, I don't think they make T-shirts that fit your arms, brother. But, well, since there's a free T-shirt, I've been here every week. Still love the show.
He can cut the sleeves off.
He'll have to. Yeah. We changed the format of the comments just to make Kyle's picture smaller because it was upsetting JP.
It was hurting your feelings there, wasn't it, Boogie?
Yeah.
It's hurting mine for sure.
I didn't like it. But thanks, Kyle, for the super chat. We appreciate it. Again, make sure you guys check out the comments.
Dedication.
We'll put it into a randomizer and make sure we get a random winner. Let's go ahead and start bringing some of these guys on. Cody is here. He's been on multiple times. What's up, Cody?
What's going on, guys?
What up, Cody?
What's your thoughts of this big, huge mess that's going on right now in Knoxville?
Spill it to us, Cody. Let us know.
It's bad. I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't think Pruitt's back. I think him, Ansley, and Steele flew out there to encourage him to transfer. I don't think they were trying to get him to come back. I think they're trying to let him know that they're gone.
Still just got hired.
Not still. I think Steele will still be on the staff as a defensive assistant for the next coach's staff, but I think they're trying to encourage him to transfer. I do.
That's interesting, though, because like JP just said, they picked Steele up and took him with them. So I don't know that they would have made that move if they were going to encourage him to leave. I sure hope that Steele wouldn't sit there and let them do that. Because I did see some speculation kind of going with what you're saying, that Pruitt was going out there to talk to him and basically say, "Hey, I'm gone.
Follow me to Bama."
it's a final. I'm done. This is the truth face to face. But again, this meeting was scheduled before Pruitt's final interviews and everything. So I don't know. I know you're not a Pruitt defender at all. You're ready to move on. Who's your guy? Who's your give us your top 3 coaching board.
Honestly, I'd say Hugh Freeze. Then this is a name that you don't see thrown around a lot, but I think you throw the checkbook at Mike Vrabel, the Titans head coach. Then, if he doesn't work out, or if Freeze doesn't come to Knoxville, man, I don't know. I don't know after that. Those are probably my 2 first hires. Then maybe you can try to steal old Dan Mullen away from Florida. I know he develops talent pretty good.
There's a lot of rumors there that he's not happy.
He's got a show cause now, though.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more baggage.
Well,
that the university isn't willing to look past.
And man, that's really pathetic. I mean, everybody on the market's got baggage, and any good coach on the market's got baggage. And you don't hire somebody because of their past. You need to, especially if there's problems in their past. I think everybody deserves a second chance. I give Pruitt a second chance after after what really looked like we were going to get stomped by Indiana. The comeback that they led, I thought he deserved a second chance after that. Well, he proved 3-7 is his low, and 3 wins is the lowest in program history. So, I mean, really, how much do you really want a defensive-minded coach anymore? Because the game's changing the offense.
And so what happens if all these rumors and speculation are right and Kevin Steele is the interim head coach in waiting? You're going to bring in another defensive guy.
Man, I'll go ahead and tell you, I wouldn't put it past some Tennessee fans to go burn him out of his house. I wouldn't.
I don't think anybody's going to be happy if they fire Pruitt and then immediately announce Kevin Steele.
Are you going to be happy with a coach that's got a 9-31 career record? I mean, that's not going to get this fan base excited.
I would grab the pitchfork and the shotgun, and I'd be right there with him.
Oh, golly. Calm down now. It is just football now, Cody. It is just football.
The opinions of Cody are not the opinions of Talkin VAWLS.
Yeah, really. Amen to that.
The FBI show up on my front door.
Well, Cody, we're going to let you go. We got a lot of people queuing up to come on. We appreciate you jumping on. We appreciate you always being here every single week, buddy.
All right. See y'all.
Oh, I thought he walked up. He's like, I'm out of here. You tell me bye, Boogie. I'm gone. Let me hit these couple of super chats. JP's a smart man. He mentions free merchandise, and here come the super chats. Taylor Smith for $4.99 says, I say fire Fulmer. He's holding us back big time. I think him becoming
it's time to move on.
As much as I was excited about it at the time because that was such a train wreck of a hire, I think he's hurting his legacy, man. He is hurting his legacy with this thing.
He just needs to move on.
David Jones for $5. Thanks, David, for the support. Says, this is pathetic. Still will be the interim top 3, Gus, Freeze, Fisher. Dave, I was all on the Gus bus, man. That's who I wanted. That was my guy, even more than Freeze. But there's no way with the stuff that people are telling me about Steele and his relationship and what happened with Gus down in Auburn. I just don't see it happening. Blitz 621 for $4.99. Thanks for the super chat. Says, limit the number of 5 stars and 4 stars a school can recruit, and that will spread the wealth. I saw somebody said that's called socialism. I don't like that idea either. I don't like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to look at the fact that the rating system is flawed. You can have a kid that's a 5-star in one of the services who's a 3-star in the other. So
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
can't
If
do
you
that.
had that type of setup, Alabama would have their own recruiting service and rank all their 5 stars a 1 star.
Yeah. Let's bring the Jiggler on. Jiggler, welcome to the
What's
show.
up,
buddy.
guys?
How's it
what's
going?
happening?
The
Doing
Jiggler.
good, man. I just want to start off by saying first, I'm not even mad if they keep Pruitt, like, at all. I been a fan of Tennessee for a long time, so I know how it works. I've already accepted that he's going to come back because it's Tennessee, man. They weren't going to fire him. That'd be too good of an option. That'd be a smart thing to do, so they won't do that.
Apathy has set in.
But they brought in Steele, so, I mean, who knows? Maybe next year at least our defense will be a little bit better. But our offense is going to be so bad next year. He's running this World War II offense that he found under a non-detonated bomb in Germany or some shit. Dude, that thing is so archaic. It's not going to do anything.
So even though you think they're going to bring Pruitt back, what is your judgment of Pruitt based on his first 3 seasons?
He's not good. After the Georgia State and BYU debacle, I knew just something wasn't right. And the whole 8-game win streak, we got lucky. We didn't beat anybody good. We didn't put on dominant performances or anything. We just squeaked by these wins. And that gave everyone like a false sense of security. Like, oh, we're getting better. We're on the come up. No, we're bad. We got lucky.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I was excited during the win streak because you expect them to beat the teams they're supposed to beat, right? I mean, there's a little excitement there. But at the same time, you got to remember, like you said, the Georgia State and the BYU. Let me ask you this, and then we'll let you drop off here. If they fired Jeremy Pruitt, who are your top 2, 3 teams?
Well, the people I want are not realistic. I'm a big Kiffin fanboy, so it'd be my dream to have like Kiffin or Hugh Freeze, but they'd never do anything like that. We'd probably end up with somebody like Gus or Steele or Doug Marrone, something like that. But if it was my choice, if I couldn't get Meyer, I'd make him say no, and then I'd go down to Kiffin or Freeze.
Yep. All right, Jiggler, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
Have a good one, boys.
Say, Jiggler.
Wow.
Whoa.
Zoomed in like Robert Craig says, "What is that noise?" It was the Jiggler. That's okay though. That was
Somebody's Xbox fixing to explode. I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. Then I thought, no, it's just Tennessee football.
Yeah. He started bad mouthing Tennessee football, and just things start going out of not working anymore. What was I going to say? I thought, well, here's another $5 from Greg Willis. Thanks, Greg, for the support. Says Orgene Chiswick.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, he wouldn't be my first choice, obviously. He wouldn't be mine, but
there are some new people coming.
I'd go after Matt Campbell. I mean, that's who I'd go after. Now, whether or not I'd throw the money at him.
He mentioned Urban Meyer. His name's in the mix for what? Is it Jacksonville?
He's already accepted. It's already done deal.
What's Dauber doing up there?
That's exactly who I was pulling up some stats on there, JP. Matt Campbell.
I mean, based on what Wikipedia says, he's making $3.5 million a year. I'd double that.
I think that's a route to go. And if Freeze isn't going to pan out, I think you look at maybe Matt Campbell, and that goes against kind of the train of thought that I'd kind of been saying. You bring in somebody with SEC experience, because the guys that we brought in before that have had success in other conferences get to the SEC, and let's face it, the SEC is big boy football, and just because you're successful in another conference doesn't mean things are going to translate here. Butch had a good system at Central Michigan, was successful there. Decent at Cincinnati, but the things he tried to do at Tennessee did not translate in the SEC. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Are we going to retread somebody like Kevin Steele, or are we going to go out and find somebody that is a head coach? We're not going to bring a coordinator in like we did with Pruitt, that has already proven that they can be the man and that they can lead a program, control all the things that a head coach has to do, or are we going to bring in somebody that is going to be a step up from their current head coaching job to the SEC? And that's all speculation. Pruitt could be back.
Let's go ahead and bring on our good friend that makes us look bad because he's so professional. Old Town South. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to the show.
What's going on, guys? I
Town
want to
South.
say, Dauber, you've inspired me to keep the beard going.
All
All
right.
right. All right.
Wait, look at this. Let's look.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dauber's got me beat, though. His is a little more well-trimmed and got it going better than mine. Mine's kind of wild and all over the place.
Yeah, he spends all kinds of money on his beard, though.
Mine's just gray.
Boogie, I was like you. I really wanted Malzahn. I really hate to hear that that's probably not going to happen. I think he could have really brought some success to Tennessee. You know, I think it was Troy Lee I was talking with as the stream started, and I hate right now how it just feels like the longer they draw out this process, how it just can't be healthy for the university, for the recruiting. I mean, what's got to be going through the players' heads that they're not even sure who the coach is? I want Tennessee to get down to business and get to worrying about this upcoming 2021 season. Goodness gracious, to make the best of it we possibly can. I think we all know it more than likely won't be a great season, but at least preserve it the best we can. But these other teams, goodness gracious, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, they are licking their chops right now at what's going on.
Michael James asking me what I'm drinking. Buddy, sorry, it's Sprite Zero. Not to disappoint you or anything. You're right, Old Town. I agree.
I agree.
And I'm almost to the point, and kind of like I said earlier, I think at this point, if Pruitt's fired, it's obviously not for performance, it's for violation of some type of rule, and it's going to be something bad, like probably level 1. So if he's fired, it's not going to be good for the university at this point. And I'm with you. I'm almost ready to move on. I would rather a statement come out from the university saying Pruitt's going to be the guy. Let's talk about how good that Kevin Steele hire is. Let's talk about getting Garner to the hill, and then that leads to Big Cat Bryant, and let's get some other players from Auburn that are leaving because Gus was fired. And let's start moving forward and saying, what can Jeremy Pruitt do in that's almost where my mind's at. I want to start talking about what can Jeremy Pruitt do in 2021 to get this team better, because the reality is if he's back, I'm behind him, and I want to eat crow. I want to see him get this thing going in the right direction.
And I'll be one of them ones well, I'll eat crow too, because I've been one of the ones I personally have been ready to move on from Pruitt. But if they keep Pruitt, fine, good. Like goodness gracious, let's get something going. Kind of a positive I take, this recruit, this transfer they got coming in. Correct me if I'm wrong. Virginia Tech, Hayden Hooker.
Hooker.
I haven't seen a lot of his highlights, but he could, bring some positive things. Is it just me, or does it feel like last year, especially offensively, Tennessee just never found their identity?
Ever.
Just could not get the ball rolling.
It was so pedestrian. Yeah.
You look at, Florida, they had Kyle Trask, they knew they had a good passing game. They knew they had a wide receiver that was going to catch whatever you threw at them. Alabama just had crap weapons all over the place. Georgia kind of had an identity for having a really good defense. Weak offense, but a solid defense. It's just like, I guess what I'm trying to say is it kills me. We're having enough trouble finding the identity as it is, especially offensively. That's why I don't want the hole to continue to get dug deeper and deeper and deeper with this whole coaching thing being drug out. If I made any sense of that.
100%.
Oh no, absolutely. That's what I was saying.
Real quick, Gobber, hold on. Let me hit this real quick. Balls 238, 499. My last name is actually Pruitt. However, the Pruitt has got to go. Yes, I believe the new hire must be a head coach. Thanks, Balls 238. Anybody that's new coming in, we got over 300 people watching live. We're glad you're here. Hit that thumbs up. But also, all the super chats coming in, anybody that submits a super chat tonight will be entered to win free Talkin VAWLS merch. So make sure you tune back in. Give us a couple of hours. We'll run it through a randomizer and pick a winner, and we will put it in the comment section, and then we will get your address and send that out. There's one more super chat, Dauber, then you can make that point. Let me find it. Where'd it go? Dank Sinatra for $2 says, I want a free t-shirt. Thanks for the super chat. We appreciate it. Sorry, Dauber, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to agree with Old Town South there. It's and I said it earlier. We've got to look at what this state of limbo and state of flux with the head coach position. Is he going to be here? Is he not? What this is doing to the football program. It's you talk about you've got kids transferring out. There's just so much uncertainty. There's a potential that Henry T is going to be hitting the transfer portal. And we talked earlier. That is probably our best defensive player.
Man, that's a blow. If that happens,
it could be.
That'd be horrible.
But you've got other, and I keep reading people throwing out, some tweets and stuff talking about the number of players we have in the transfer portal. And I think it's up to 17, 18, something like that now. The majority of those guys are non-contributors. They're guys that you've not heard their name since the day that they signed on signing day with Tennessee.
Most of them are walk-ons. There's a lot of them walk-ons.
Right. You do have some guys like Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler is a good running back. Yes, he would probably play next year, but you've got Eric Gray who has, in my mind, surpassed Chandler. You've got the JUCO running back coming in, number one JUCO recruit.
Jamari Smalls.
Smalls, Beckwith. I think he was just seeing there's a lot of competition in this running back room. And I wish him the best at UNC. I think he'll do well in the ACC. And then can you blame Shrout? Can you blame Garantano? They've not had quarterback coaching development their entire time there. The way the quarterback position has been handled, can you blame them?
Absolutely not.
I look for both of them to transfer out and be pretty successful at Washington State and at Colorado.
I'm honestly really surprised Maurer hasn't transferred out yet.
It's coming.
I think it's coming. I think it's
just a matter of time. I think
that one does surprise me.
I had to look at him, man. He's a diamond in the rough. It could be very likely under good coaching staff. He could turn. I'm not saying turn into a Peyton Manning, but could be a pretty solid quarterback. But it's rough. I'm in this generation of. I'm 27. I started really watching ball football about 2008. And I think some would say that's when it really started going downhill.
Why?
Bless your heart, Old Town South.
I tell you, I'm in this group, and I really feel for brand new Vol fans because I'm in this era of watching Tennessee football. I've really only had the privilege of getting to watch one solid season, and that was the 2016 Vols. Jones's third year. And
that's not Tennessee football,
that's
man.
All I got,
that's
man.
Not Tennessee football.
I just asked myself the question, man, when's the day going to come? And I'm going to sit on that TV and be like, all right, man, we got a chance at Florida. I know I gotta go. Y'all got more guys. Y'all got a show to do. Y'all got more people. Y'all got to.
I feel for you, Old Town. I feel for you, Old Town South. Oh my gosh, bless your heart.
I need it. Ball therapy.
Yeah.
We appreciate it, Old Town. Thanks for coming on, buddy. We
appreciate you, buddy.
Keep it up, guys.
Thank you.
What's funny about him saying, talking about offenses, the Tennessee's offense not having an identity. Heck, they couldn't even find a quarterback. How are they going to build an identity when they can't even figure out who the starting quarterback is? Let me get caught up on Super Chats, and we'll bring another listener on here. He's queued up, ready to go. Greg Willis for $5. Thank you. Greg says the university has got to go in their pockets and pay a coach that can take us back to the 90s. I want my kids to experience that before I die. Yeah, look at Old Town South right there, man. Man, these guys, why would you start watching Tennessee? I'd be like, these guys are awful. I wouldn't come back. Walter Miller for $5. Breaking. Tennessee is reportedly.
Didn't he already hired?
Well, somebody in the chat earlier was saying that Pruitt was fired and kept trying to get on the show saying it, but whatever.
I think Walter must be Jimmy Himes. Isn't that the running joke on him that he announces stuff like 2 days, 3 days after it actually happened? I love when Walter is Jimmy Himes.
I'm going to start doing that. Breaking, Talkin VAWLS is going live at 7. Join us. Lonnie Allval Williams for $10. Thanks, Lonnie. Says, I'll buy the shirt. I'm just supporting my boys. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Lonnie. You just paid for the shipping. Pretty sure. Thanks, buddy. That's it. We're caught up. Let's go ahead and bring on MJ Customs Tennessee. Welcome to the show.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Hanging in there.
So what do you think of this mess? Everything going on with Pruitt?
Give us the lowdown.
First of all, JP, I meant no harm, man. We're good. We're brothers. We're ball fans all the way.
That's right, brother.
That's just the thing I say to my crowd, that you're on crack, man, if I disagree with you.
It's all good. It's all good, MJ.
He's sensitive. We're all sensitive. It's okay.
It's all good.
But anyway, I bleed orange like everybody else, but it's like I'm really sick and tired of people like hitting on Fulmer when his last year we were 7-5. That to me is a winning season, is it not?
I think the expectation at that time was so high. Like looking back on it, it's like we wanted so much more. And now we would give anything to go back to that being a bad season.
Exactly. And as AD, I'm not real sure what kind of job he's doing, but I don't know if he's an AD type material. But as a coach, awesome. You know, he took us a long way. And I mean, I think that's where our problems really started, is when they got rid of Fulmer. I really, truly believe that, because look at where we came from and look at where we're at. We went from Majors to Fulmer, and way before the line, the General. We came from, and I'm 44 years old, and there's several Vol fans that are older than me that know where we came from. We have got to get back to basics, and I think Pruitt is somebody that knows the basics just like Fulmer did. But I'm giving him one more year, and that's it.
I'm a Fulmer guy. I've said that on the show so many times. Fulmer will always be I actually have a buddy of mine was a student when they won the national championship, and I've got the Daily Beacon from campus with Fulmer holding up the trophy, and it's autographed by him, and it will forever hang in my office. And I will forever call myself a Fulmer guy. When he got fired, when all that went down, they had an email address set up where you could email him, and I sent him this big long email, and you got a generic response, but he will always be my coach, because that's really who I grew up watching walk that sideline.
Yeah.
I think you're right, but I also understand. I think it was time to move on. I do. Unfortunately,
Fulmer had it going for several years, better than any coach down there's had in the modern era of football. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, he had everybody on the same page. I'm not going to say it was as good as what Saban's got down in Alabama, obviously, but I mean, he had that whole administration. They were all working towards the common thing of having a very competitive football team. And it's not that way anymore. It's just not. And I think that's one reason why that Fulmer wanted the AD job, was to try to, get back to that, thinking that maybe that he could get back to that point and try to lead them back to everybody, working towards that common goal. But at this point in time, I think that this job needs somebody that has AD experience and can be more of an overall leader as far as that goes. I'm not going to badmouth Fulmer, because he brought a national championship, and I got to experience that and some excellent teams at Tennessee. But I think in 2008, I think that it was definitely. I think that he got complacent. I think that he was living off of that national championship. The SEC at that point in time wasn't near as competitive as it is now. And we were beating up on some bad programs and so forth like that. So, but the problem is this administration has not hired the right coach since then, and that's why that we're still stuck in this vicious cycle that doesn't seem like that it's going to end anytime soon.
Well, I want to throw one thing out there. When you talk about a coach and an AD, that is two different. You talk about the administration. You're starting to get political about it. Being an AD, you become a little bit more political about things, and as a coach, you focus totally on the football team. As an AD, you're in basketball, football, baseball, soccer, whatever the sport is, you're an athletic director, right? So, Fulmer, I don't know that he has that, and I agree with you there, but it was a mess, and I don't think we had anywhere else to go at the time because he was brought in as a advisor. Here we go with the advisor thing again. And to me, it was time to get rid of Butch. It was time to get rid of
Dooley.
Yeah.
And Kiffin done. I don't ever want Kiffin back. I don't care what kind of record he's got now. I don't ever want him back. He left us. We didn't leave him. He left us. So for him to come back, he's not going to have our best interest at heart, I believe.
I don't know, MJ. I'm telling you. I'm
on the Lane train too. I'm on the. It's like,
I'm willing.
As a ball fan who bleeds orange, that struck me, and I'll never forgive him for that.
Well,
he can jump into Watauga Lake for all I care.
I understand. I understand part of that, but man, that's been 10 years ago or 11 years ago, whatever. Lane Kiffin is a good football coach. Now
we talk about second
I didn't say he wasn't a good coach.
Well,
I don't ever want him back in Tennessee, though.
I want to win. I want to win football games. So if I'm going to discount Kiffin from ever being head coach, then I'm acting just like this administration's acting, like saying that we're too good to hire this offensive line coach that's had past issues. We're never going to hire Hugh Freeze because of his past issues. Whatever. Then continue to be terrible at football. Continue to be terrible at football.
So you're saying I'm on crack now, right?
Yeah. That's how we'll get MJ out of here. JP tell him he's on crack.
I love you guys.
Appreciate you, buddy.
I love you guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, listen, I'm going to throw this out here about Fulmer. 3 years ago, when he was brought in at a time when it was just as crazy, if not more crazy, than what we're seeing right now. You had the mess that John Curry had created and all that. He's down in the Bahamas thinking the Mike Leach hire is done. He's been turned down by the guy at who was it? Was it Iowa or somewhere? Anyway, turned down by 2 or 3 other guys. Then we get all this, and then he's on a plane out to Washington to talk with Leach and get everything ironed out, and gets told come back home just to be fired. And Fulmer was brought in to fix the situation created by Curry and the firing of Butch Jones. And I think at the time he did really the best job he could with who was available.
Sure.
Because Pruitt was all that was available. Not all that was available, but Curry had already been turned down. Dave Dorian at NC State, the guy at I think it was Iowa or whoever. Anyway, we had all these guys who were also coaches that you really hadn't even heard of. And we were in a mess. And he was brought in to sort of right the ship, and I think he did a good job. And we were talking about the other, you have other sports as an athletic director. Other sports are doing well; they're flourishing. You look at men's basketball. You look at the women's team; they're starting to turn stuff around. Baseball is good. coaching in the Fulmer's hired some other coaches in other sports that have done well. You look at the extension that Pruitt got. That was prior to the team tanking and all these,
that was still a mistake, though.
Yeah,
that was a bad business decision.
It was, and that is where I think Tennessee has gotten in problems in the past. They've jumped the gun on situations. They've jumped the guns on extensions and raises and all these things based on performance, very recent performance, instead of, wait until he's in beginning the final year of his contract. So you have a larger body of work. Because right now, you look at Pruitt's body of work, his entire body of work, it's not very good.
Yeah.
You look at the red flags that are there. It's obvious.
But everything you're saying about Fulmer and what he's doing with other sports, and I know a lot of people like to say it and joke about it and say, well, we're a basketball school now. No, we're not. The only thing that matters is football.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, like I've said before on this show, when Pruitt was hired, I had the opportunity to go to Metaview over here and see Holly Warwick was there, Pruitt, Fulmer, Heath Schuler was there, a thing from work, and it was a room of 40 people or so, and talked to Fulmer. I had my son with me, and said to Coach Fulmer, I hope that my son, who just turned 6, is able to see Tennessee football be what it was as I was growing up. And he said, that's my job, is to get Tennessee football fixed. And, Pruitt picked up my son, held him, was talking to him. These guys aren't intentionally doing the things that are leading to what's happening on the field. They're getting paid to make the best decisions that they're making. Bottom line is, and I said it Wednesday when we were on, if Pruitt returns, he has got to make changes to how he's coached, and quit micromanaging, let his other coaches coach, or we need to move on from him. And that's the thing. If he's back, he has got to change. Bottom line, plain and simple as that.
Let me hit these super chats, and then we're going to bring Ty Myers on here in just a second. Cody Branch for $2 says, I'm not even 20 yet. The only good season is 2016. It's sad, man. It's sad. I don't even know how people like that are fans. I think there was one more super chat. Did I miss it, or are we caught up?
It's the only one I see.
Okay, good. Wait. We're caught up. All right, we're good. We're caught up. Let's bring Ty on and see what he has to say. What's going on, Ty?
Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
So I wanted to bring up kind of where I stand with just mediocrity and in college football and where Tennessee fits into that. I'm actually a Georgia Tech fan. I live in Knoxville, so I root for my hometown team. I always will. But watching Georgia Tech, as I have throughout the years, they were always content with winning 6, 7, 8, 9 at the most games in the whole Paul Johnson era that just ended. And they were never going to fire him if he won at least 6 games. So I'm wondering if Tennessee continues to just float around in this 3, 4, 5, 6 win territory that they're at right now. Hopefully they don't. At some point, is the fan base, whether it's 10 years from now or 3 years from now, going to be like, okay, you know what? As long as we're winning 6 games and our basketball team's in the top 10, we're okay with that. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point because this fan base is so big and they love football so much. But, I never thought I would see that at Georgia Tech, but it ended up happening. But where do you guys stand with that?
Well, here's my take on it. I think that the older fans, my age, older, whatever, that they're going to kind of just go to the wayside, and their fandom and their interest is going to wane. And then you've got the younger crowd, and that's all that they've ever known is, bad football, 5-6, 6-6, 3-7. It really just depends on, to me, whether or not that they really, really love football and want to support the program. But if you keep on having these seasons of bad football, I don't see how that it's not going to have a huge impact, 10, 15 years down the road. That stadium used to be packed every single Saturday. I mean, it used to be packed. I mean, I have been in that stadium and could have sworn that there was three people sitting in my seat because there was so many people crammed in there. I mean, you're absolutely crammed in there like a can of sardines.
But how many times, though? How many times have we given up hope? And JP, you've said, I'm done. I'm turning in my fan card, Boogie. We've been driving home from Knoxville, yelling at each other. But then a year goes by, and that next season, they end up ranked. They're in the top 25. There's a big matchup early with Florida, and here we are showing up and showing out, and we're right back in that stadium, and everybody's believing. But Ty brings up a good point. At what point does that stop happening?
Well, and that's where I'm at now, because I'm telling you, I have no desire, zero desire to get up and drive to Knoxville and spend all day Saturday going to a football game. I have no desire. There is nothing that excites me about that. And that's where I'm at. And I think that there's thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of Tennessee fans like that. And it's probably the people that have saw that this program can field a competitive football team, but for whatever reason, they can't get their act together.
And I don't know if you all follow Josh Pate, who he has a podcast. He works for 24/7 Sports, and he was talking about how Tennessee might be on their last chance to get a head coaching hire right before people just say, you know what, and this is the reason that I bring this up today, is because if this is Tennessee's last chance and they do screw it up again, will that make people say, okay, like at what point I guess I'm just done. I guess I'm just done with it. Like, I don't know if we'll ever get that exact answer from a majority amount of the fans, but
yeah,
I think Josh has a point when he says that, yeah, I mean, this could be it. This could be the last chance for Tennessee to get something right. I mean, you can only screw up so many times before people check out. I mean, check out.
Yeah, yeah. So being a Georgia Tech fan, how is that fan base and that fandom down there? I mean, are people still as passionate about Georgia Tech football than they were back? Georgia Tech won the national championship. Shared one in 90, I think it was.
Yeah. I think in the early 2000s, Georgia Tech kind of lost their way, a lot like UT did. And then they kind of decided to go a different route and bring in a one-dimensional offensive coach who was a good coach, and he could continuously win 6 games and get into a bowl game. And then after 11 seasons, I think Georgia Tech was finally like, okay, we're kind of getting tired of being mediocre. Let's see if we can change something and end up competing. And like we're only in the second year of Jeff Collins' era, and he's running the spread option. So it's not even a spread option; it's more like just a spread in general. But yeah, it's the fan base right now is thinking to themselves, okay, we got to give Jeff Collins at least 5 years. I mean, heck, he's trying to get out of a triple option. That's no easy thing to do. But the reason I like to bring up Georgia Tech and Tennessee is they're in a boat that's similar, I think. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You brought up some good points, Ty. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate all the support. I know I always see you in the chat all the time. So
appreciate you, Ty.
All right, thanks, guys. See you.
Thank you.
Let me hit this last super chat here. If anybody wants to drop a final super chat, if you're wondering why so many are coming through, we are going to give away a free T-shirt to one person that submitted a super chat. We're going to enter it in a randomizer. We'll come back and leave a comment with who that is, and then you guys can get in touch with us, and we will get that T-shirt, hoodie, whatever
Boogie,
you want. Whatever you want. Hey, what?
Up that to 2 T-shirts.
Why are you JP?
Hey, It's my money up at the 2. I appreciate all these people.
I figured it out. We have this conversation behind the scenes all the time. And it's like, yeah, we can do that. We can do this. Then we come online and JP's like, I tell you what, I'm taking it out of my money. And then I immediately go into the Talkin VAWLS bank account and ship it and take it out of everybody's money. But JP comes out looking like the hero. I figured it out.
No. You know me. I will pay for it out of my money.
I'm just saying.
I'll pay for it out of my money.
We're picking 2 winners now. So you guys have probably less than 5 minutes. If you want to be entered to win a free Talkin VAWLS hoodie, t-shirt, ball hoops, any of that stuff, drop a super chat, $1.99 or $50. Remember last year when we got 3 $50 super chats because they were fighting over who was the best fan? How do we make that happen again?
I think that's probably all drunk.
Maybe. I think it was a post-game show, so they probably were. All right, let me get this super chat. Greg,
I'm starving.
I know, man. I make you guys stay on. I got to make you stay on to earn the $50 you just gave away. Greg,
take it out of me. I'm telling you, I'll pay for it.
He's lying. He's lying, guys.
Oh, you are full of it, and you know it.
Greg Willis.
He's the one getting mad tonight.
Yeah, maybe we just accuse him of being a cheapskate, and he gets mad. I like it. Greg Willis for $10 says, guys, everybody's acting like Tennessee wasn't that powerhouse we were. Alabama, that's where we need to get back to. Stop settling for mediocre. That's not acceptable. It's true. But it's fun to pick on the team when they're down, right? I hear all the time, oh, Tennessee sucks. Always rebuilding, right? It's like, no, man, Tennessee was a powerhouse, and, our generation will never let that die. Where are we at here? There was another one.
That's what's so hard about facing where we are right now. Being in the bottom, right there next to Vanderbilt.
Losing to Kentucky, getting ran out of your stadium by Kentucky.
Yeah.
Here's Kevin Bear for $5. Thanks, Kevin, for the super chat. And also thanks for being a member of the channel. Says Feinbaum said today that he thinks Steele took the job as an assistant with the expectation of becoming head coach. That's something me and JP talked about in the video we dropped. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes. There's some stuff going on. I would not be surprised at all.
Be excited about that?
This fan base is going to implode if and when that happens. John Robert Tolkertine for $4.99. Thank you, John Robert. Hypothetically, if Pruitt is fired this month, who is hired? Steele, Malzahn, or Fisher? Most realistic situation. Out of those 3, Steele. There's no doubt in my mind it's Steele. Malzahn's not coming, guys. You got to realize that. And I dropped a video when they hired Kevin Steele, and I was talking about Gus Malzahn because I didn't understand the drama that went on at Auburn. He basically weaseled his way in there to get Malzahn fired to try to steal that job. They do not like each other. So Gus Malzahn is not happening now. We might as well forget that, even though I was on that Gus bus for so long. What does this say? Vol Fanimal. Vol fan in LA? Anyway, $9.99. Thanks, buddy, for the super chat. We appreciate that. We appreciate the support. It says, love the show, guys. Well, thank you. We appreciate you. Jonathan Ross back with more money. $9.99.
I like this guy. I like this guy a lot.
Jonathan's got some money. That's because he's paying for what you promised him.
Yeah, but he's got his comment. I love this comment right here.
Then you read it. You read it.
Miracle's going to happen. I'm going to wake up Monday morning. There's going to be a freeze on the ground. We're going to have hired the Reverend Freeze, and recruits will be pouring in. Oh, how I wish so bad. Offense be putting up 40+ a game. Sign me up for that, Jonathan Rice. We appreciate that.
If that happens, this show is going to be
I think JP's getting ready to throw up a hallelujah.
A hallelujah.
But
we won't do it because, we'd rather be bad at football, but, man, we can hire, saints, I guess. I don't know. Don't make no sense to me.
Hey, don't forget what I threw out there, Boogie. Anybody that threw out a super chat, you've got to send us your details, your shipping address, and you're gonna get one of these. So you do the legwork. Send it to us on Facebook or on Twitter. Let us know, and I'll get that sent out to you.
You can pick if you want the State Pride logo or you got the other one, or is it not there yet?
The brand new Talkin VAWLS too.
That's sweet. I gotta give me some of them, Dauber.
Look at Dauber's hoodie, man. That
I
may
know.
be my favorite logo yet, and I don't even like basketball. Look at that
Yeah,
thing.
it's sweet.
I
It's
love
sweet.
that. Old
You
school.
better start.
clean.
turned out good.
You better start liking basketball if you want to see Tennessee win at anything.
I'm just glad whatever Dauber had going on Saturday is not going on, and now I don't have to do the basketball show. I don't have anything going on. Maybe I'll just jump on and act like an idiot and make fun of you guys. All right, that's it. I think that's going to wrap it
Make
up for the
fun.
show. What an amazing night, man. Almost a 2-hour stream. We got close to like 350 people watching. If you haven't done it yet, hit the thumbs up on the way out the door. We would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're dropping content. Anytime news breaks, we're putting that out there. We're giving you some comments and feedback, what we think's going on. And if anything happens with Pruitt, if they make an announcement that he's back, we'll probably go live. If he's fired, we'll go live. If Hugh Freeze comes to the Hill, JP will probably give out $10,000 worth of merchandise. I don't know what's going to happen. But that's it. That's going to wrap it up. You guys are awesome. Thanks for all the support. For Vols JP, for Dauber, my name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
How like we poets sat in arcade, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated